About 3 or 4 years ago, I wrote the second part of my book, Taffy How. I should have got it out knowing I was going to talk about the book. And I remember even putting it online. Oh, wow, I finished the second part of Taffy How. I finished it. I wasn't sure whether I was going to make it a part two or just add it on to the book. But most probably will add it onto the book. I don't know yet, or might just be a completely separate story. It might be. I have to think about it. Most probably, to be honest, because it is, in a way, it's a continuation, but it still is a story in itself. Um, and then I've left it. I haven't typed it up because I do like longhand, so I've written it out. Haven't typed up or anything. I've just left it there. And then I have been asked once or twice, are you writing anything else? And I've shared about how I've written the second part of Taffy How, but I'm not going to. Recently, I've heard myself say I'm not. I don't want to use it. I want to sort of use a different storyline. Anyway, recently something's taken place whereby, I don't know whether it was lack of communication. There's more to it than that. Someone had some good news to share, and they told me it, and it was like I just basically said, "Well, it's about time." There wasn't that sort of like, "Whoa, really?" There wasn't that type of excitement there. What have you? And reason being is because I basically had that type of news to share years ago. I'm indirectly speaking at the moment, and they were invited to come along, and they didn't, and I thought fair enough. And then a few years before that, it was the same thing. They were invited to come, and they didn't. So twice they didn't come, and it was quite it was a big occasion. And I just thought, fair enough. So when this person is telling me this news, my psyche sets in and remembers, like, hang on a minute, why is this person so excited telling me this when they couldn't have been bothered to attend, this type of celebration? They couldn't be bothered to attend. And then I didn't realize how much it had affected me, though, because then I had to spend a few days. It was going over in my head, and so on and so forth. And it's like, they've invited me. I'm going because I don't want to do any tit for tat. I'm going to go, but I want to go in the right frame of mind. So I've had to basically, I feel a lot better than I had felt, a couple of weeks ago. But I want to go to encourage that person and not to have any grievances there, And even I did think about eventually in the future, shall I explain part of my reaction? It was only part of my reaction. The other part was because it's about time, and I said I've been praying for this to happen, and luckily now it's happening. And I just thought, I don't know, because some people, and I'm not saying this particular person, but sometimes people can have like a little narcissistic trait whereby, and it could just be for that moment, whereby you're trying to explain to someone this is how you felt, but for some reason they're not acknowledging it. They're acknowledging how their situation and how they felt, and they sort of all turns around as if they're now the victim. And if that sort of happened, or it wasn't acknowledged how I would expect it to be, it could make the situation worse. So I might just basically just deal with it. Obviously, if it's on my mind, then you have to speak about it, but I'm trying to deal with it, and maybe one day in the future come out and say something, maybe. For instance, if this person consistently keeps going on once I attend, and also the person's only invited me to half of it, and I don't know whether it's for me to sort of think, what's the point of going? I don't think like that. I'm going to go. I'm going to go. And to show support, which is what you're supposed to do. But in the future, if this person keeps going on and on and on and on and on and on about this particular celebration, eventually I might mention the fact that are you aware, but so on and so on and so forth and so on, because I just don't want to be in a situation where I have to continually listen to stories about the event, about this, about that. If it carries on like that, on and on and on and on, I will basically say something. But I don't know if you've been in a situation like that whereby you've had a huge celebration and you've invited those close to you to come, and they don't, and you sort of think, fair enough. But then a few years later, you have another big celebration and they don't attend. But then a few years later, they then have a celebration. They come to you with excitement and your psyche kicks in. You're sort of thinking, why are they telling me this with excitement when they couldn't be bothered to come to, And I'm also sort of thinking, does she remember this as well? Sort of thing. Let me know, comment, because it's not good to do for tit for tat, or it's not good to keep all records of wrong. I'm aware of that, but it's how I'm feeling. It was how I was feeling. I'm just honest with the way. If I'm feeling a certain way, I'm honest with it, and I have to deal with it. I have to deal with it, and then so that when I'm in that person's presence, I don't feel any negative. I'm not negative towards them. I don't have an attitude towards them. I want to be genuinely happy. So it takes work to do that, to genuinely be happy for someone. If you're in a situation like I've just shared, you really do have to sort of like work at it. So I'm getting there, and I know I will get there. But I do look forward to hearing your comments. Take care. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.